Just me and my shadow. What does that mean? What it means is that we have elements in us that we call the shadow element. Those are the parts of us that we keep hidden, that are buried deep within us. And often these are the parts of us that we either don't like or we wish we had. Sometimes, if you notice, you see people who talk in a very loud voice, for example, and it's a trigger for you. What happens when you hear somebody talk very loudly? You start to think and you wonder, how could this person speak so loudly? They're so rude, or they cause a scene, they're such drama people, or they just want to be in the spotlight. What I am suggesting is that if these people trigger you, what that means is that inside of you, there is a part of you that wants to be similar. Yes, if you secretly envy their ability to be so outspoken and to speak their version of their truth in such a clear and commanding way. Those of us who are high empaths, we have this as our biggest drawback, or something that we struggle with the most. So this is our shadow element, and it's a polarization of an extreme where we are very quiet and give in, as opposed to other people who are very outspoken and speak their own truth. Tongue twister. So the healing here is to embrace it, is to not push it away and not to judge it, but to understand that deep inside there is a part of us that wants to speak up, that wants to be heard, and that wants to have that command of presence. It's there. To heal this is to start practicing the speaking up, so that the bridge or the distance between the extremes of where we are as an empath versus people who are extremely outspoken and verbal, we neutralize it and bring it somewhere in the center. Now this center will be different for different people. Finding your own balance with this particular trigger is your healing of a polarization of your shadow self. Think about it. I repeat, so you get it clear. People trigger us. Our triggers are parts of us that are a shadow, or a part of us that we have within us but we don't want to embrace. We either fear it, or we feel we're not up to it, or whatever the reasons. And I gave the example of that. Very often they show up in people who we dislike or who we hate. It's not the person we hate, or it's not the person we dislike. It's part of their attributes that show up, that trigger an element of our shadow self that is there to be healed. So just think about this and see what comes up for you. Cheers.